In our next session, you will learn more about the concept of purpose-driven leadership and how it is key for building a prosperous, inclusive, and sustainable future that highly integrates with technological innovations. Professor Mushtak Al-Atabi is currently the Provost and Chief Executive Officer at Heriot-Watt University, Malaysia. Professor Al-Atabi has published 3 books, delivered 2 TEDx talks, and has numerous research publications, awards, and honors. Professor Al-Atabi is an innovative educator who believes that the main goal of education is to mobilize the individual's purpose into positive impact on the world. We are definitely very honored to have Heriot-Watt University as our exclusive exabyte partner of this conference. And if you do have any questions for Prof. Al-Atabi, please post it in the chat box or in the comment section below, and we will be addressing it with him at the end of the session. He will be on air really soon, so stay tuned.
Good morning. It's really great to be with you to speak about a topic that's really close to my heart. Steering a digital nation using purpose-driven leadership. And I want to pick 2 words, the steering and the leadership, because these are keywords and they are very important. As leaders, often our role is to have a clear vision for the future, but at the same time, be aware that the world is changing, there are risks and there are trends, and navigate that changing world and steer ourselves, our organizations, or even our nations through this difficult path that is filled with uncertainty, and doing that with a smile on our face. As a matter of fact, the metaphor that I have for you is to think of yourself as leaders like this judo player that you see here, who is observing their opponents and observing the momentum and the weight of that opponent and positioning himself here so that he can use the weight of the opponent against his opponent, use it to topple his opponent. So we as leaders, often we are faced with many risks and many trends, political trends and health trends and environmental trends, and we need to find ways to remain true to our objectives and our visions and use whatever is thrown at us as an energy to drive us toward what do we want to achieve. So if I were to ask you a question, what would you have done differently if I had told you 7 years ago that in 2019, we are going to have the COVID-19 pandemic? Would you have, for example, bought shares in the surgical gloves making companies? Or would you have bought shares in GrabFood or one of the digital platforms? Would you have prepared yourself or your organization to pivot digitally maybe? Now, I would like to wager that if you knew that 7 years ago that we will have the COVID-19, you would have done nothing. And the reason why I'm pretty sure that we've done nothing, because we had this advanced warning. We had advanced warning from Bill Gates and from Obama, both of them in December 2014 and 2015, because we had back then the Ebola pandemic. They predicted, as a matter of fact, Obama predicted very accurately that within 5 years, we might be having a Spanish flu-like kind of pandemic that's getting so difficult to control. Even for him, for Obama, he failed to convince the Congress to invest money in building the United States capacity for being ready to deal with a pandemic. So the question I ask myself, and the question I would like to ask you as well, why do we fail to adequately respond, often to trends that we have been watching for a very long time, and we are pretty confident that they are coming our way. Things like, let's say, the climate change. And I believe there are 4 reasons for that. The first reason is the risk may not materialize, or it may not materialize within the expected time frame. So in this case, any investment may be seen as a waste, and it's a wasted opportunity and will give our competitor the upper hand. Secondly, change is difficult. It's difficult by nature. And we know that because we know that people find it difficult to exercise, eat in a healthy manner, or even save for retirement. The human brain is wired in a way to value the current benefit over the future benefit. So that's why it's very difficult to convince people to take current pain so that they can have benefit in the future. So that's the psychology of change. The third reason for us not being able to respond adequately is the scale of the change that is required sometimes might be so overwhelming that we find it difficult that anything that we would have done would make any difference. So that's another point. And the last point, which is extremely important, take any of these challenges, whether it's the pandemic or the climate change, it requires people who are, and parties who are usually competitive and work against each other, to come together and trust each other that everybody is going to do their part for keeping the climate change at bay or keeping us safe. And this is very difficult, as we know. We all recall in the early days of the pandemic when countries, neighboring countries, started to fight over the masks and also over the ventilators. Everybody was prioritizing their own health, their own safety, and their own interest. I think this is happening because we have a system of thought, a system of business, a system of education, and a system of leadership that is built and based on what is called the ecosystem. The ecosystem is self-centered, is based on maximizing the returns for us individually or at an organizational level or at a national level. And in order for us to have any chance at succeeding in addressing any of these challenges that we face and make the right transitions so that we are successful and sustainable, and also others are successful and sustainable, we need to move into what is called the ecosystem. So that shift from an ecosystem to an ecosystem is key. And in an ecosystem, every member of the network, every node of the network is equally valued, and the health of the entire network is necessary for the network to be healthy. And the nature of the challenges that we face today and will continue to face in the future would require us to move from an ecosystem to an ecosystem at multiple levels. So on an individual level, we need to not only take care of ourselves, but the other people who are beyond our family. At the state level, we need to make sure that we not only get one state vaccinated, but we need to get everybody vaccinated. At the international level, we need to make sure that every country is doing their part in terms of staying healthy, keeping the virus at bay, and also doing their part for other things that are sort of inflicting our world. So how can we make this shift, this transformation from an ecosystem to an ecosystem? I want to talk to you about a person who is a leading scholar in what we call meaning. And I'm going to connect this to the shift that I'm proposing to all of us to make. This is a picture of Viktor Frankl. Viktor Frankl was an Austrian psychologist and psychotherapist. And he lived during the time of the Nazis. And as a matter of fact, they took him to the concentration camps. He spent 3 or 4 years there. Very difficult time. And being a psychologist, he decided to run an experiment. He was looking at the people around him, the prisoners, and was asked himself this question: who is going to survive the longest? And the thinking was those who are younger and healthier are going to survive the longest. And boy, was he wrong. He discovered that there are people who are healthy and young who would die very quickly, and there are people who are old and frail, but they will survive until they were freed by the victorious forces in the Second World War. What he found out is that those who had a clear sense of meaning, a clear sense of purpose, are the ones who were able to endure all the trauma that was thrown at them. And since he was released, after he was released, he started talking about the importance of purpose and meaning. And he is talking about that the driving force, the major driving force for us to live is that search for meaning. I would like to propose that to address the 4 points that I raised earlier, the points that makes acting or action in the face of trends that we are recognizing coming our way, in order for us to be able to act effectively, we will need to have a clear sense of purpose. So let me talk to you about leadership. And I believe that leadership is the business of building and growing 4 types of capital: the human capital, the social capital, the emotional capital, and also the economic capital. As leaders, we are in that business of equipping our people to be capable and able to do the work that they are supposed to do, building networks so that our objectives are progressed, have emotional capital, knowing ourselves, knowing others, and how to work with them effectively, and also building the economic capital, making sure that the bottom lines are met. I would like to propose a new way of leadership, which is a purpose-driven leadership, where we don't only start by thinking of these 4 capitals, but we think of the purpose that we are having. And it's about having a leadership purpose for us individually, but also having a clear sense of purpose for our communities and also for our organizations and even for our nations. When we start with purpose, then we could see that these 4 types of capitals are vehicles that we use to mobilize our purpose into positive impact on the world. And when we do this, we are going to have not only success for ourselves, but we also have a positive change that's happening in the world. And only then, in my opinion, we are going to move from an ego system of thought and education and business and leadership to an ecosystem of all of that. So today I wanted to share with you very quickly 2 videos showing some work that we've done at Heriot-Watt University to progress this agenda. The first one is about equipping each and every one of our community, including our students, with that sense of purpose. So every one of our students, as they join us at Heriot-Watt University, we ask them, what impact do you want to have on the world? As a matter of fact, we spend the first 4 weeks of their first semester thinking about how can they use their magic, their capabilities, their knowledge, their degrees into making the world a better place. So let's enjoy the first video here.
Education should empower our students beyond academic achievements. It should build character and the soft skills needed for success in life and to enhance personal well-being. It's all about cultivating a sense of purpose, which will lead to making an impact on the world around us. At Heriot-Watt University, we call this positive education.
I'm a writer.
I am a bridge builder.
I am a light bulb.
I am a change maker.
I am a catalyst.
I am a breath of fresh air.
I am a peacemaker.
I am a soul warrior.
I hope to communicate to other people my own sentiments to express what I feel about issues in today's world.
My purpose is to help others develop a personal understanding and perspective of the world around them. I aim to encourage the sharing of opinions and perspectives between people from different walks of life, resulting in the development of positive worldviews.
My purpose is to encourage and support the community around me to reach the best versions of themselves.
My purpose is to enhance youth participation and engagement in leadership programs by creating positive changes at individual and community levels.
I aim to build, innovate and transform the world towards sustainability, and I dedicate my life towards building healthy teams and sustainable communities where people get to enjoy life with more happiness, growth, recognition and purpose.
I wanted to be the sparks of someone's life, as I believe everyone has the obligation to make the world a better place. I promise to the best of my abilities to contribute to the sustainability of this country and give impact to others.
My purpose is to help people manage their financial matters in order for them to achieve a better financial security and also to reduce their financial burden on their shoulders.
I find joy in connecting with other individuals in hopes of adding value into their lives. My purpose is to help others in all capacities to create a positive impact in their lives.
I aim to create a platform with the help of industry leaders for young individuals with mental health issues and those who need support and guidance to pursue their dreams in life.
As the question on the screen says, what will be your impact? I really would like you to think about that. What impact do you want to have on the world? Because it's a very powerful question, and that you will see hopefully helping you framing your leadership priorities. So we are moving from an ecosystem to an ecosystem, one student at a time. The other thing that we do with our students is we encourage them to be grateful. And this is extremely important for building that sense of community, sense of ecosystem. And you would find it maybe strange that we all need to be taught how to be grateful and how to say thank you in an impactful and meaningful way. So what we do, we take our students and we put them on a training program to teach them how to say thank you in an impactful, effective way. And there is a process to do that. First, they need to exactly identify what are they thanking the other party for. Second, they need to make sure that they explain to the other party how did that thing that was done onto them help them succeed. And thirdly, they need to acknowledge the sacrifice of the other party. And finally, they need to recognize the character strength. When you do things in that way, you will be saying thank you in a very impactful way. Now I'm going to show you a video of a group of our students who are saying thank you to their parents in a very impactful way.
I don't know how to react, okay? Hi Ma. Hi Dad.
You always want to tell her, but very hard.
I'm about to read something to you, and here it goes.
A love letter. Dear Mama and Papa, there are not enough words to describe how thankful I am to you.
Thank you for carrying me and guiding me all the way.
I feel incredibly grateful to have you as my mom.
I bet you never expected this when I told you to attend my graduation.
As your daughter, I can do so many things to make you be happy and be proud of me.
I know I don't show how grateful I am enough, but I really am.
As we're a typical Asian family and we rarely express our affection towards each other.
From the time I couldn't speak properly at a young age and being a very shy little girl to being someone who is confident and very determined to achieve anything.
I'm grateful that you want me to have a better future.
I'd like to tell you that you really mean a lot to me, even though I don't show it much. You're like my strength and pillar in life.
Everything about you is amazing. First, thank you for never give up on our family or on me.
Thank you for working so hard to be able to send me to university, and for that, I will never be able to repay you.
Mommy, I like to say that you are my superwoman, my best friend, and the best mom in the entire universe.
You will still encourage me and tell me to never give up.
I'd like to thank you for fully supporting me in whatever I do and letting me explore by my own instead of limiting my potential.
Although I had made many mistakes, you will always forgive me. I am grateful for your kindness.
Without you, there is no me, and I would certainly not be reading this out loud to you right now. But because of your unconditional love and support, I was able to muster up all my courage to read this in front of you.
From day one, you have been my support system. Thank you for the thousands and thousands of dollars you and Dad spent on my education.
So Ma, I just want to say thank you for always being my home therapist 24/7.
I love you, Mommy, forever and always. Love, Ellie.
You too.
No.
Wow, that's so touching.
So again, whose life will you touch today? Because with gratitude, we can move a step closer from an ecosystem to an ecosystem. So let me have this challenge for all of us. How about today, before the end of the day, we are going to say thank you to one person, and we will thank her or him in a meaningful way using the 4 steps that I outlined earlier. Say specifically, why are you grateful for? And secondly, how did that help you succeed? Acknowledge their sacrifice and recognize their character strength. I think through this, we are going to make the world a better place a little bit, particularly at this current time. Now, I am reaching almost my last slide, and I want to talk to you about purpose-driven leadership, and I'm using COVID as a framework so that you all can remember this, and maybe when we meet later, you will say, I've heard you talking about that. You know, COVID as a word has now a lot of negative connotations, and I would like us all to reclaim this word, because really, amidst all of this difficulty, there are a lot of things that were, I dare say, positive, including bringing to the fore the human spirit, bringing us together, recognizing and realizing that our actions really matter. So the C is for communication. What is your story, and how are you telling it to us? Which audience are you telling your story to? So always tell us your story, because your story is interesting. The O is for the opportunity. As leaders, we always need to find opportunities to add value, to discover new ways to deliver the value to our stakeholders and customers and people around us. The V is for vision. What is our vision? What is your vision for recovery after COVID? Do you think that we'll just go back to our old ways, or you are envisaging a new vision, a more powerful, a more brave, a more sustainable vision? The I is for impact. Ask yourself and those under your leadership and those around you, what impact do you want to have on the world? Because your presence is important and it has an impact, whether you like it or not. So we may as well drive the impact that we want to have. And the D is for development. Always develop yourself. Always read. Always help others to be the better versions of themselves. So this is the COVID purpose-driven leadership framework. Carl Sagan said, "We make our world significant by the courage of our questions and by the depth of our answers." I would love to have a discussion with you and take some questions if you have any. Thank you very much for listening to me.
Hi everyone, so we're here with Professor Al-Atabi and we have some questions for him. Professor, are you ready to take it away?
Absolutely, I'm always ready. Thank you very much, Myra.
All right, cool. So this is our first question. Professor Mushtak, what will be your best leadership advice to choose those who are leading organizations such as CEO? Thank you so much, Michelle Wu from Facebook, for that question. Professor?
If I have to give one advice, it's about purpose. So we need leaders who are clear about their own leadership purpose, their own personal purpose, what brings meaning to their life, because these are the people who will be able to help our organizations to be purpose-driven and also to move us from that ecosystem kind of thinking into the ecosystem thinking. So if in short, in one word, purpose.
Wonderful. That's beautiful. I think a lot of us should try to find it within ourselves to move with purpose through the world. It's very enlightening. Thank you so much for that. We also have another question for you. This is from Sharonjit Beans from LinkedIn. Thank you, Sharonjit. And the question is, have you mentored or coached other CEOs in leadership?
Well, yes, actually. The impact statement work that we did has been done by thousands of people. Quite a number of them are our students, but a good number of them are leaders in their own right, in education and other fields as well. So my engagement with leaders really focuses on helping them find their purpose, articulate their purpose, and communicate it.
Wonderful. If anyone would love to be mentored or coached by you, where could they go?
Well, you could write to me on LinkedIn if this question is from LinkedIn, and my email is available online as well. You can just reach out to me and I respond.
Awesome. Sharonjit, you heard it here first. So we have one more question, and this is from Michael Warren. I apologize. Michael Warren from WebEx. Thank you so much for your question. And the question is personal leadership more important, or is having the correct structures and policies more important?
I think both of them are important, but honestly, if I have to choose, I think without the right leadership, even the structures could crumble and break down. But ideally, you need both, because if you have all the right traits of leadership without the supporting structures, sometimes frustration would happen because you won't be able to show the results. But my personal take on this, if you have the right values and right purpose and right leadership capabilities, then you could build the structures. If you have the structures, but you lack the values and integrity, honesty and things like that, you could destroy these structures and then we end up with nothing. So again, if I have to pick, I will pick the leadership, although both are important and they go hand in hand.
All right, thank you so much. I love that answer. Do we have any more questions? Yes, we have one more question, and this is from SXZOVGHN from YouTube. Hi, thank you for your question. And the question is, what should we do when a person has lost confidence and strength? Could it be wholly changed, or only certain parts of it can be fixed? And if that is so, what will you suggest? That's 3 questions, but Professor, what do you think?
Well, this is a very big question. I'm not sure whether you are talking about what will happen when we lose our own self-confidence, or when we are trying to help other people when they lack confidence. But let me try to quickly answer. I think first of all, if we are trying to help someone else, let's see why we've lost the confidence. Often, if we understand the reason, that will give us a good a good way forward. But I will go again to that sense of purpose. People say, if you are lost, remember why you started. Why you started whatever you are starting. And I think going back to these fresh starts is an exercise in re-examining purpose, the why of our life. And often when people remember why they are doing what they were doing, then confidence will come back, and hopefully good feeling will come back too.
Thank you for that answer. Sometimes you can lose your purpose, but if you don't stop asking why or continue to go inwards and ask yourself that question, eventually you'll find yourself on that path. I think that's beautiful. Thank you so much for your speech and for sitting down with us and answering questions, as well as our chat earlier. Thank you so much, Professor Al-Atabi, for this wonderful sharing session.
Thanks, Myra.
Thank you. See you.